English Leap Podcast.
Learn easy English with Speak English Like a Pro. Hey, English learners! Welcome back to the English Leap Podcast, your cozy place to learn easy English through real-life conversations and real feelings at the same time.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. And I want to start today with the question that has made more English learners go completely silent than any grammar rule ever has.
What question is that?
Tell me about yourself.
4 words, and yet somehow the most terrifying 4 words in the English language.
You are at a job interview or a party or meeting someone new, and they smile and say those 4 words, and your brain just leaves.
The brain that was perfectly functional 1 minute ago suddenly has nothing, absolutely nothing.
And you stand there smiling and you say something like, I am from Brazil. I like music. I work in a company.
I work in a company, the most information-free sentence ever spoken.
Which company? What do you do there? Do you enjoy it? How long have you been there? None of these questions get answered. Just a company, somewhere, with people, doing things.
And the painful part is not that you do not have anything interesting to say. You have an entire life full of interesting things to say.
The painful part is that nobody prepared you for this specific moment. Nobody sat you down and said, here is how to talk about yourself in English in a way that is natural and warm and interesting and confident.
And today, we are doing exactly that.
We are giving you the full toolkit: how to introduce yourself, how to talk about where you are from, your work, your interests, your story, in simple, natural English that makes people want to keep talking to you.
Not impressive English, genuine English, because genuine always lands better than impressive.
Always. This is a B1 level episode. Simple, warm, and immediately practical. We will explain the important vocabulary as we go, and at the end we will have our word tour with 10 essential expressions from today.
Before we begin, one small request. If this podcast is helping you become the English speaker you always wanted to be, please like this episode and subscribe to the English Leap podcast. Every like and subscription genuinely keeps us going.
And in the comments today, we want you to do something brave. Write 3 sentences about yourself in English. Just 3. Who you are, where you are from, one thing you love. That's your comment today. We will read every single one.
Okay, before we get into the language, I want to talk about something that is more important than any phrase or vocabulary word.
What's that?
The reason most people cannot talk about themselves confidently in English is not a language problem, it's a belief problem.
Yes, and this is so important to say out loud.
Most people believe that their story is not interesting enough, that their life is too ordinary, that they do not have anything remarkable to say about themselves.
And they listen to other people speak confidently about themselves and think they have a more interesting life than me. They have more to say. I'm just ordinary.
And that thought is wrong, completely and entirely wrong.
Because interesting is not about what happened to you. Interesting is about how you talk about what happened to you.
2 people can have the exact same experience, the same job, the same hometown, the same hobby. And one person can make it completely fascinating, and the other can make it forgettable.
The difference is not the life, the difference is the telling.
And today, we're teaching you how to tell your story in a way that makes people lean forward. Not because your life is extraordinary, because you are sharing it genuinely and specifically.
Genuinely and specifically. Those 2 words are the entire secret.
Okay, let's start with the basics, the opening, because how you begin talking about yourself sets the entire tone.
Most people begin with facts. I'm 28. I'm from Mexico. I'm a nurse. I have 2 brothers.
And facts are fine, they're necessary, but facts alone are not a conversation. They're a form.
Like filling in a box. Name, age, nationality, occupation. Tick, 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 tick.
And the person listening nods and waits for something to connect to, for something that makes you feel like a person rather than a completed form.
So the upgrade to a fact-based introduction is adding one small specific detail to each fact that opens a door for the other person.
One small specific detail, not 10. One specific, Vivid, true.
So let's practice this together. Take the fact, I'm a teacher.
Now add one specific detail that opens a door.
I'm a teacher. I teach 7-year-olds, which means every single day something completely unexpected happens, and I go home either laughing or slightly confused about humanity.
Now there's a conversation. The listener wants to know more. What unexpected thing happened? What confused you about humanity?
One detail, and the door is wide open.
Okay, let's talk about talking about where you are from, because this is one of the most common topics in any introduction, and most people handle it in the most forgettable way possible.
I'm from a city called Lodz. It's in the north of Poland. It's quite big. There's a famous market there.
Very informative, completely unengaging.
The Wikipedia entry version of where you are from.
And the reason people talk about their hometown this way is because they're describing it to a stranger who has never been there, and they feel they need to explain the geography.
But nobody falls in love with a geography lesson. People fall in love with a feeling, a specific sensory memory, the thing that makes that place yours rather than just a location on the map.
So instead of describing the city, describe how the city made you feel.
For example, I'm from a city called Medellin in Colombia. When I think of home, I think of the smell of my mother's kitchen in the morning and the sound of music coming from somewhere down the street at any hour of the day or night.
That's a person talking about their home, not a tourist brochure.
And the person listening doesn't need to know where Medellin is. They felt something, and feeling something is what makes people remember you.
So the skill is not describing your hometown, it's sharing what your hometown feels like to you.
The specific personal sensory memory that is yours and only yours.
Okay, let's talk about work, because after where are you from, the next question is almost always, what do you do?
And most people answer with their job title, which tells the listener almost nothing about who they actually are.
I'm an engineer, I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher, I work in marketing.
And the listener nods and thinks, I don't know any engineers, I don't know what to ask about this.
And the conversation dies.
So the upgrade to the job title answer is to add why you do it, not what you do, why.
The why is where the person lives. The what is just a category.
For example, I work in marketing. I help small businesses tell their story in a way that makes the right customers find them. I love it because it's basically helping people be seen.
Now the listener knows the what and the why gives them something to connect to. Helping people be seen. That's a human motivation that anyone can relate to.
Versus, I work in marketing, which tells you nothing about the person behind the job.
So the formula for talking about your work is simple. What you do, plus the human reason behind why you do it.
One sentence for the what, one sentence for the why, and then stop and let the other person respond.
Because talking about yourself confidently doesn't mean talking about yourself nonstop. It means saying something real and then making space for connection. That's one of the most important things we've said today.
Say something real, then make space. Let the conversation be a two-way thing.
Okay, let's talk about interests and hobbies, because this is where most people either over-explain or completely undersell themselves.
Over-explaining sounds like, I like football. I have liked it since I was 6. I support a team called Płomin. They are from the north of Poland. We have won 4 championships in blah. The current manager is blah.
The Wikipedia problem again.
It never ends. And underselling sounds like, I like music. I like reading. I like being with friends.
Which tells the listener that you have the interests of approximately 7 billion other humans.
Maximum relatability, zero memorability.
So the skill with interests is specificity, the specific detail that makes your version of a common interest uniquely yours.
Not I like music, I am obsessed with old Nigerian Afrobeats from the 1970s. I discovered it completely by accident through one song, and now I have spent more money on records than I should probably admit.
Now I know something about you, something real and specific, and slightly embarrassing in the best way.
Slightly embarrassing details are gold in conversation. They make you human. They give people permission to be real back.
And that permission is what confident conversation actually feels like. Two people being real with each other rather than performing for each other.
Not, I like music, I am slightly obsessed with something specific and here is why.
The slightly obsessed version. Always more interesting than the polite general version.
Okay, now let us talk about something very specific. What to say when someone asks where you learned your English.
Because this question comes up constantly for English learners, and most people either panic or say something very small.
I studied at school, or I use an app. And then silence.
But this question is actually one of the best opportunities you have to tell a genuinely interesting story about yourself.
Because your English learning journey is unique. Nobody else has your exact experience of learning this language.
So instead of a short, flat answer, try this structure. Where you started, what changed, and where you are now.
For example, I studied English at school for years, but honestly, I could not really use it. Then I started watching films without subtitles 1 year ago, and slowly the language started to feel real rather than just academic. And now I actually enjoy speaking it, which I never expected.
That answer tells a story. It has a beginning, a turning point, and a current state, and it reveals something true about who you are.
And the person listening feels something. They respect the effort. They connect to the journey. They want to know more.
And you just talked about yourself with complete confidence, without using a single complicated word.
That is the whole thing. Confidence does not come from complicated language. Confidence comes from knowing your own story and telling it honestly.
Let us practice the full, confident self-introduction now, a complete version using everything we discussed.
So this is what a confident, natural self-introduction sounds like in English.
My name is Anna. I'm from a small town in Portugal near the coast. One of my earliest memories is the smell of the sea in the morning before anyone else was awake. I'm a graphic designer. I help companies find their visual identity, which basically means I spend my days trying to understand what makes a brand feel like itself. I love what I do. Outside of work, I'm slightly obsessed with old architecture. I visit old buildings the way other people visit restaurants. And my English? I learned most of it alone, through films, podcasts, and a lot of talking to myself in the kitchen.
That introduction, nobody forgets that person.
Because it's specific, it's real, it's warm, and it was delivered without apology.
Without apology. That is the final piece, the piece that holds everything else together.
So many English learners apologize for their English while they're speaking it. Sorry, my English is not very good. Sorry if I make a mistake. Sorry.
And every sorry deflects the listener's attention from what you're saying to how you're saying it.
It's like a musician walking on stage and saying, "Sorry, I'm not very good," before playing a single note.
The audience is now listening for the mistakes. You invited them to.
Whereas the musician who walks on stage with quiet confidence and begins playing, the audience is completely focused on the music.
Walk on stage with quiet confidence. Let your English be what it is, and trust that what you have to say matters more than whether every sentence is perfect.
Because it does. It always does.
Your ideas, your story, your warmth, your genuine human presence. These are what people remember, not your grammar.
Never your grammar.
Word tour time. 10 expressions from today. Simple, powerful, and yours.
Listen, repeat out loud, and imagine yourself using each one.
First expression, vivid.
Vivid means producing strong and clear images or feelings in the mind. Something vivid feels real and alive. A vivid detail is one that the listener can almost see, hear, or smell.
For example, the most memorable self-introductions contain at least one vivid detail, something so specific and sensory that it creates an image in the listener's mind and makes them feel connected to your experience.
Or, she had such vivid memories of her grandmother's house, the particular smell of it, the sound the door made, the way the light came through the kitchen window in the afternoon. Repeat. Vivid.
Vivid.
Slowly. Vivid.
Next expression,
Undersell.
To undersell yourself means to present yourself as less interesting, capable, or valuable than you actually are. To describe yourself in ways that are too small and too flat for who you really are.
For example, saying, I like reading is underselling. Everyone likes reading. What specifically do you read? Why does it matter to you? What has a book ever done to you personally? That's the real answer. Repeat. Undersell.
Undersell.
Take your time. Undersell.
Next expression, sensory.
Sensory means relating to the senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Sensory details are details that involve these physical experiences. They make descriptions feel immediate and real.
For example, the best descriptions of places and memories are sensory ones. Not the city has a population of 2 million, but the city smells like coffee and rain and the sound of trams in the early morning. Repeat. Sensory.
Sensory.
Slowly. Sensory.
Next expression, turning point.
A turning point is the moment when something changes direction. Before the turning point, things were one way. After it, they became something different. Turning points are some of the most important moments in any personal story.
For example, discovering English through films was a turning point in her learning. Before it, the language felt academic and distant. After it, the language felt alive and genuinely hers.
Or, every meaningful journey has at least one turning point, the moment that divided the before from the after. Identifying yours helps you tell your story with shape and meaning. Repeat. Turning point.
Turning point.
Take your time. Turning point.
Next expression, deflect.
To deflect means to redirect something away from yourself or away from a subject. When you apologize for your English before speaking, you deflect the listener's attention from your content to your performance. You invite them to judge the language rather than receive the message.
For example, she made a conscious decision to stop deflecting with apologies. She stopped saying, "Sorry, my English is not perfect," and started simply speaking. And people responded to her confidence before they even processed what she had said.
Or, deflecting compliments is a common habit. Someone says, "You did that beautifully," and you say, "Oh, it was nothing." That deflection denies the other person the satisfaction of their own generosity. Repeat. Deflect.
Deflect.
Slowly. Deflect.
Next expression, relatability.
Relatability is the quality of being easy for others to connect with. Something relatable is something the listener can recognize in their own experience. When you share something relatable, people feel close to you.
For example, admitting you spent more money on records than you should have is highly relatable. Almost everyone has a version of this, something they love slightly too much and spend slightly too much on. That honesty creates immediate connection.
Or, the best storytellers understand that relatability is more powerful than impressiveness. People connect to authentic human experiences, not to perfect performances. Repeat. Relatability.
Relatability.
Take your time. Relatability.
Next expression, visual identity.
Visual identity is the combination of colors, shapes, fonts, and design elements that represent a brand or organization. It is what makes something look like itself, consistently recognizable across all places you see it.
For example, great visual identity is immediately recognizable even without a name. You see the colors, the shapes, the style, and you know exactly which brand you're looking at before you read a word.
Or, developing a strong visual identity requires deeply understanding what a brand values and how it wants people to feel. It is not decoration, it is communication. Repeat. Visual identity.
Visual identity.
Slowly. Visual identity.
Next expression, memorability.
Memorability is the quality of being easy to remember. Something with high memorability stays in people's minds long after the moment has passed. In conversation, memorability comes from specific details, genuine emotion, and unexpected honesty.
For example,
The difference between a forgettable introduction and a memorable one is almost never about how impressive the life is. It's about how specifically and honestly the person describes it.
Or, great teachers have high memorability. Years after the class, students still remember specific things they said. Not because the information was extraordinary, but because it was delivered with genuine, human warmth and specificity. Repeat, memorability.
Memorability.
Take your time. Memorability.
Next expression, genuine.
Genuine means real, honest, and sincere, not performed or pretended. When something is genuine, it comes from the actual truth of a person's experience, rather than what they think they should say.
For example, genuine confidence is not about having no fear. It's about speaking from your real experience, regardless of whether you think it sounds impressive enough. The genuineness itself is what commands attention.
Or, people can feel the difference between a genuine smile and a polite one, between genuine interest and performed politeness. Genuineness is not something you can fake successfully for long. It has to be real. Repeat, genuine.
Genuine.
Slowly, genuine.
And our last expression today, specific.
Specific means precise and detailed, relating to one particular thing rather than something general. In conversation, specific details create pictures. General statements create nothing.
For example, specific is the difference between I like food and I make a soup from my grandmother's recipe every single winter, and eating it is the closest thing I have to going home. Both are true, only one is memorable.
Or, specific feedback is more useful than general feedback. Don't say, this was good. Say, this specific sentence was particularly effective because of this particular reason. Specificity makes feedback actionable rather than just pleasant. Repeat, specific.
Specific.
Take your time. Specific.
That was our word tour today. 10 expressions that will make every introduction you give in English feel more real, more warm, and more genuinely you.
And now our final thought, the one that we want to live in you long after this episode ends.
You already have everything you need to talk about yourself with confidence in English.
You have a hometown with a feeling attached to it. You have work with a reason behind it. You have interests with a story inside them. You have a journey that is completely unique to you.
Nobody has lived your exact life. Nobody can tell your exact story, and nobody can tell it better than you.
So stop waiting until your English is perfect. Stop apologizing before you begin. Stop underselling the life you have actually lived.
Open the door, share the vivid detail, tell the turning point. Let the genuine, specific, real version of you walk into the conversation without apology.
Because that version of you is not just interesting enough.
That version of you is the most interesting version because it's real.
And real is always the most interesting thing in the room.
Every single time.
Without exception.
If today's episode gave you the language and the confidence to introduce yourself in English without shrinking, please like it, subscribe to the English Leap podcast, and share it with one person who goes silent every time someone says, "Tell me about yourself."
Because today we gave them something to say, something real, something worth remembering.
This is Mia.
And this is Jason.
Wait. I cannot believe this. Every single episode.
It is at this point a tradition.
The most consistent thing about this podcast.
Okay, for real. This is Mia.
And this is Jason.
And you've been listening to the English Leap podcast.
Bye.
Bye. Go introduce yourself to someone today, in English, with one vivid detail, one genuine moment, and 0 apologies. You are more interesting than you think. Go prove it. Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.